Welcome back to Action Figure Obsession with me, your old pal Avian and Loaded, and here we have a rather seemingly almost random assortment of Marvel cosmic characters, all I believe from the Hasbro Marvel Legends line. Yep, checks out. The cosmic aspect of Marvel Legends, other than when it's being written and drawn by Jack Kirby, or not Marvel Legends, but Marvel Comics, other than when it was written and drawn by Jack Kirby, the only other time that it really grabbed me was when it was written and drawn by Jim Starlin, who kind of picked up the ball that Kirby laid down from some of the threads of the 60s and the 1970s, and also, the Kree Skrull War that Roy Thomas and Neil Adams depicted so brilliantly in the pages of Avengers as that series was approaching its 100th issue of Volume 1. And, this is not a display that I have in my collection. These figures generally are not displayed together, but some of them are. The big three, of course, is the Jim Starlin trio of Adam Warlock here in the front, in the red and yellow cape, and the staff there, and Captain Marvel in the back there on the left, next to Thanos' right arm. And, of course, the Infinity Gauntlet Thanos from a couple of years back, 2-3 years back, I think now. That was widely considered a big upgrade for the Thanos from the Walmart one that we had gotten, certainly from the Marvel Select one, which was more of a statue than an action figure. And it basically was this same design. Marvel Legends did a much better job and even included the snap hand, which, kind of it violates my rule about not liking accessories that only represent like a moment in time. But since he came with all the other hands that he'd need, I definitely make an exception for that, and I do think it's kind of cool they included it. And of course, the Silver Surfer gets caught up in these things every once in a while, and I've got him back there propped up on a little, I think there was turkey in that little plastic dish there for a while, but you don't really notice it from a distance, right? And it will go back to holding all these accessories that I had temporarily stored in it anyway, as soon as I get done with this video. But I just wanted to talk about a little bit, and we'll get Nora and Rad here down, I think, off the turkey package, because it's just, especially now that you know what it is, it's just going to be too distracting. All right, I'll put that over there, and kind of take a look at this cosmic mishmash of various eras and various ideas. And I was actually thinking, as I was assembling these guys here on the work table, what it might be interesting or fun to do. I have my sort of Avengers Fantastic Forever shelf with a sort of theoretical concept for a team of Fantastic Four members from various universes. And the leader of that team, always in my headcanon, is a Skrull impersonator of Sue Storm, who has switched sides and is now working for the good guys and is no longer pretending to be Sue Storm. And of course, what this really is the Skrull head from the Avengers 60 Years Beyond Earth's Mightiest Spider-Woman. And who came with that? Oh, Spider-Woman and the Super Skrull. That 2-pack that came out a couple of years back. But, they're Skrulls. She could just as easily be Susan Storm as she could be Jessica Drew, am I right? Although the hair clearly is more Jessica Drew, but, perhaps that's just her real Skrull hair, It's, I don't think it's asking a lot to to accept that headcanon as being a possible story. So what I was thinking was adding some of these other cosmic characters to that sort of shelf depicting the Fantastic Forever, since there's some pretty wild sort of semi-cosmic ideas going on up there already. So yeah, this is all, by the way, the retro Sue Storm. Another $10, the body is rather, another $10 Ollie's Con exclusive. I forget why I bought a second one, but it's always good, especially with like the, characters like the Fantastic Four, where the bodies, once you take the head off, are just the uniform. You don't even have to worry about skin tone because the neck goes all the way up. So it just gives you the illusion that, it's like a high top turtleneck or something like that, or whatever you want to think of it as, like a high necked top or tunic. Um, so yeah, she didn't cost me all that much to put together, and I didn't have any use for the Skrull head for Spider Woman. I just wanted to have a Marvel Legends Spider Woman for my primary Avengers display. So I never really put her into her Skrull form to begin with. Kind of wishing now, as I'm thinking about doing some sort of cosmic display, that I kind of wish that I had kept the Super Skrull instead of selling or trading it off. But I didn't really recognize that version of the Super Skrull. I never read any stories with him. I like to build a figure a little better. I think they're doing a re-release of that, if I recall correctly, or perhaps they did it recently. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not the world's biggest Skrull fan either, but I think it's good to have representatives of the various factions, at least, in the kind of display I'm talking about. So we have one Skrull, and then, of course, because the Kree always make it unfair, we have not one, not two, not three, but four members of the Kree race, denizens of the Kree homeworld, soldiers in the Kree battle against the Skrulls, the centuries long, never ending conflict. Starting with, I think, one of the first Kree that was ever presented in Marvel Comics, of course, Captain Marvel, or Captain Marvel, as the Earthlings knew him. Always liked this guy in the comics. Really, really enjoyed all of his appearances, especially the ones written and drawn by Jim Starlin. Starlin is an interesting case for me because he's really not one of my favorite artists, and yet I find his storytelling compelling, including the art. I would not, when I say favorite artist, it's like you look at work by somebody like Jack Kirby or Steve Ditko, even Bernard Krigstein, who is one of my all-time favorite comic book artists. And just I sit there and I look at it and I pore over it and I'm like, man, I wish I could draw like that. If I could draw like that, I'd give anything to be able to draw like that. And I wouldn't give anything to be able to draw like Jim Starlin, but I can't deny that he's a damn compelling storyteller visually and with his ideas, and even right down to the dialogue and the caption boxes. He's just a fascinating case. And I don't think he was ever in better hands than the hands of the man that killed him in Marvel Graphic Novel #1, Jim Starlin. So here we have originally Captain Marvel, I believe, was created by other people. I'm not sure. It might have been Roy Thomas and John Buscema in the pages of Avengers. I'm not real versed in that history. Most of the stories that I read about him were in the Starlin era. But so Captain Marvel became a dad at some point because one of the Eternals apparently stole his DNA and had a child, and that child was Genisvel, son of Marvel. And here he is, and Genisvel, in this costume, appeared in a great run of comics written by Peter David, I think in the late 90s, if I recall correctly. Really, really good run. Also called Captain Marvel. Once his father died, and once Monica Rambeau gave up the title of Captain Marvel and became Photon, I think, then Genisvel was free and clear to claim Dad's title, and he became I think the third person to call themselves Captain Marvel. I'm playing pretty fast and loose here. If I'm wrong, please fill me in the comments. And then from the Captain Marvel movie figure line, here we have the Marvel Legends Yon-Rogg, which is a figure that first of all, it doesn't look anything like Jude Law. This is supposed to be Jude Law under the helmet there. And the main complaints about this figure are the giant head. It looks like he has a giant head. To which I kind of respond, yeah, but it's a helmet. Who knows what's going on in there? It could be all kind of technology filling it up and protection. I can't as easily defend the Herman Munster feet accusation. He does have some pretty big feet, but I will say this: he's never fallen over on me. Yeah, those feet will hold him up all day and then some. Then also from the Kree, but from an alternate universe, I believe, is Noh-Varr, N-O-H space V-A-R-R, Noh-Varr, from the wonderful Grant Morrison and J.G. Jones 6-issue miniseries Marvel Boy from, I think, 1999 or 2000. Absolutely 6 of the best issues of any comic book series Marvel has ever published. I loved this character so much by the time that book was over. And then for the last 25 years, Marvel has pretty much done diddly squat with him. I am not aware of any other Marvel Boy, or if the Protector they changed his identity to eventually, because I guess Marvel Boy sounds silly. Um, but yeah, he's another one that I always con exclusive. I got this one for $10. I have 2 of them in my collection. The other one, I think the other one's on my Silver and Bronze Age shelf, which makes no sense at all. But the back part of the Silver and Bronze Age shelf is generally reserved for really tall, bulky characters and characters that I just don't know what the hell to do with. And I have a Marvel Boy that hangs out here on the work shelf, and that's this guy. You may previously remember him as my Ultimate Quicksilver, but I think that idea has kind of gone by the boards, and now we're doing this with that body. I don't know what that is, but it's Quicksilver from the movies with a cyborg head. I don't know. I'm just riffing, folks. That's all I'm doing. Just riffing. So these are the 4 Kree guys here: Marvel Boy, Yonrog, Marvel, and Genisvel, his son. And then we can bring out, I think, the most significant of all of these characters. If I had to only pick 2, I think the 2 most significant in the entire history of the cosmic Marvel universe, as depicted so far in the comics that I am aware of, would be Thanos here, especially, sporting that Infinity Gauntlet, and Adam Warlock, and the 2 of them are sort of arch nemesis. We'll just move Norrin Rad back here into frame. But yeah, Adam Warlock, a creation of Jack Kirby in the pages of Fantastic Four, originally known simply as him. He gestated in a cocoon, which was briefly hinted at in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, if I recall correctly, and the payoff to that was exactly diddly squat. And Thanos and Adam Warlock were pretty much mortal enemies, and there was a 2-parter between 2 annuals back in the late 70s, mid to late 70s, 77, 78. Between Adam Warlock and Thanos, and that battle did not end well for either one of them. And I remember reading that, and that story must have been 60, 70, 80 pages long, because it was a full-length story in 2 different annuals, part 1 and part 2. Part 1 was basically the Avengers and Adam Warlock up against Thanos, and then in part 2, because of reasons, The Thing and Spider-Man also showed up. Main reason being that it was in Marvel 2-in-1 annual at the second part of the story, and that was the Thing's comic, so yeah, he was definitely going to show up. But the whole thing was written and drawn by Jim Starlin, lettered by Tom Orzechowski, if I recall correctly, who lettered a lot of Jim Starlin's Marvel work in the late 70s, early 80s, and also, of course, lettered most of the Claremont, Byrne, and Austin era of Uncanny X-Men so fantastically well. Tom Orzechowski, for my money, is one of the 2 or 3 best comic book letterers of all time, and never ever gets enough credit. But you look back at some of those Uncanny X-Men stories by Claremont, Byrne, and Austin, some of the Jim Starlin Warlock stories. I think Orzechowski lettered a lot of those Warlock stories, and then he definitely, I think, lettered at least one of the parts of that. I could be misremembering, but I think he may have lettered at least part 1 of that 2-part annual crossover that saw Thanos and Warlock's rivalry and war kind of reach a fever pitch. Now, when you're talking Cosmic Marvel, of course, Cosmic Marvel basically originated with this guy and the arrival of Galactus in the Fantastic Four 48 through 50, when Jack Kirby gave us perhaps the greatest 3 issues of Fantastic Four ever published. Jack Kirby created the character of the Silver Surfer all on his own, put him in the book, and Stan Lee got the pages, and he was like, oh, what's this? And, he had to, go by Jack Kirby's notes. He was the herald of Galactus. He came to Earth to tell everybody, hey, you're all about to get eaten. There's nothing you can do about it. Just suck it up, Buttercup. And for decades after that, Stan Lee liked to tell people that he had a big role in creating the Silver Surfer. I'm here to tell you that he had no role in creating the Silver Surfer. Go back and read some of the interviews with Jack Kirby about the issue. about the question. The Silver Surfer inarguably is one of the few Marvel Comics characters that you can say with absolute certainty was created solely and entirely by Jack King Kirby, the king of the comics, and the only time really that I've enjoyed the Silver Surfer as a character, really bought into what he is and what he represents outside of those Fantastic Four appearances that were dialogued by Stan Lee and written and drawn, conceived and drawn by Jack Kirby. There was a two-issue miniseries that Stan Lee wrote, and Mobius, the pen name for the cartoonist Jean Giraud, drew, and that was pretty beautiful to look at. There was a ridiculous Silver Surfer direct only one shot in the 80s that John Byrne wrote and illustrated. That was really not a good comic book. There was also a Silver Surfer graphic novel, which was one of the weirdest, most strange things ever published, with a Marvel character in it. It was written by Stan Lee, drawn by Jack Kirby, and I think plotted by both of them, inked by Joe Sinnott. And I think it was just called The Silver Surfer in its original publication. And it was kind of a retcon where it was the origin story of the Silver Surfer with the Fantastic Four taken out of it. And I think it's a real odd. It was published by Fireside Books originally, and I'm sure it's been reprinted since by Marvel and perhaps other publishers. A very, very strange reading experience, but some of Jack Kirby's best artwork. I really think that he was trying to maybe mend fences. I mean, it could be that he just did it for the paycheck. I really don't know. I'm sure there probably is some information about it out there somewhere. I did ask Joe Sinnott about maybe 10, 12 years ago at a comic book convention what his memories were of working on that graphic novel, the last Silver Surfer story ever done by Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and his longtime legendary inker Joe Sinnott. And the response was that he didn't remember anything about it. So yeah, that was disappointing because the only reason I went to that convention was to ask him that question. I just wanted to get his perspective on one of my all-time favorite Marvel graphic novels, that Silver Surfer graphic novel by Lee Kirby and Sinnott. And there were no answers to be found. I don't think he even remembered doing it, which is wild to me because it was such a strange and unusual project for the time. Graphic novels, I'm not even sure the term graphic novel existed, or certainly was in use when it comes to superhero comics in the United States market. It just wasn't a thing, and it was so strange to me that he didn't have any memory of it. But I guess, like with William Shatner doing Star Trek, you ask him about a question about a certain episode or whatever. And the fact of the matter is, these are just people that are going to work and they put in their work day and they go home. And, some of them look back on the experience fondly and remember individual episodes or issues of whatever it is that they accomplished. And then some people, it was just a job and they were done and they moved on to the next thing. And that's understandable. It's human nature. I worked in one field for 27 years, straight through, and there's a lot about it I don't remember. I've had people that I worked with come and tell me, hey, remember that time this happened? Remember that time that happened? And when they tell me, I vaguely do remember it, but it's not like active in my memory the way it is in theirs. I guess everybody remembers things differently. Everybody prioritizes things differently. And I was just, can you tell that I'm not over the the trauma of Joe Sinnott not remembering inking the incredible Silver Surfer graphic novel that Jack Kirby penciled? I think the last time he ever drew the Silver Surfer, if I recall correctly. I think that came out in 1978 originally, if you want to look that up. Fireside Books, The Silver Surfer, Lee and Kirby and inker Joe Sinnott. It's a beautiful book. It's a strange book, but it's a beautiful book. Because as I say, it rewrites history and takes the Fantastic Four out of the occasion completely and throws in a bunch of other weird stuff. Very much a post-2001 A Space Odyssey Jack Kirby drawing that story and including, some of the cosmic lessons that he learned. You can see how I'm like eclipsing Thanos with the Silver Surfer, right? This, by the way, is the Silver Surfer from the mini-comic wave. Just a gorgeous figure. Apparently it's a repaint of the one that came with the HasLab, but the HasLab Silver Surfer that came with Galactus was just this swirly-twirly plastic, while this thing is painted silver from head to toe. And holy cow, how good does that look, man? How good does that Silver Surfer look? If only he had a stand and a magnetic board like Toy Biz gave us, and you could get him off the ground without having to use, a turkey package. But, Hasbro's never going to give us that. Toy Biz gave us the world and more, and Hasbro gives us the bare minimum 9 times out of 10, perhaps 9,999 times out of 10,000. I'm not good at math, though, as we have firmly established in previous videos. So, yeah, we got your Adam Warlock, we got your Skrull Sue Storm Imitator, we got your Genis Vell, we got your Novar Marvel Boy, we got your Thanos, or Thanks, as Spellcheck usually likes to call him. If you've ever had that experience, you know what I'm talking about. And then we got our Jan Rog back there, our not Jude Law Jan Rog, who, by the way, I kind of wish I'd army built him when he went on clearance, because I think he'd just make a good generic sort of sci-fi soldier. That would have been fun. I guess if I ever saw some for $5 or $10, I'd buy up a bunch and maybe be able to build out an even better cosmic display. And then, of course, the late, great Marvel, Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel in Marvel Comics, but not the original Captain Marvel, which was Billy Batson, Captain Marvel from Fawcett Comics, back in, I think, the late 30s. Been a lot of Captain Marvels. There was even a Captain Marvel who, when he would say the word split, his head, his arms, and his legs would all detach from his torso and be able to go and beat up like a whole team of bad guys. You ever heard of that, Captain Marvel? Comics are really weird sometimes, man. Really, really weird. So anyway, I think I will add at least some of these guys to my Fantastic Forever. You get that, right? F-O-U-R-E-V-E-R, Fantastic Forever. It's kind of a spin on my Kit Bash / display spin on the Great Avengers Forever comic book. That was published way too many years ago for me to even think about. That's got to be 30 years old now or more, right? Oh my God, time. What is time? No one knows. No one knows what time is. Is it possible it's because it doesn't really exist? Who knows? Who can say? That'll do it for this action figure obsession. Look at my sort of ragtag band of cosmic heroes and at least one villain. I don't think my Skrull Sue Storm is a villain. I think she's turned the page. She's turned over a new leaf. She's turned hero, and she's here to lead the Fantastic Forever into battle against a threat that threatens to engulf and destroy the entire multiverse. That's not too much responsibility, is it now, fake Sue Storm? I should give her a name, like her Skrull name. I should figure that out. And there probably is one from when I'm sure there was a Sue Storm, a Sue Skrull that appeared in the what was it called? Oh my God, there was even a TV show, Secret Invasion. Thank you. I had to think about the TV show. That's the way my brain works. The filing cabinet finally opens, and it's like, oh yeah, here's what you're looking for, Secret Invasion. Yeah, so my Secret Invasion, Sue Storm, Super Skrull, whatever, and the rest of the gang. Appreciate you hanging out with us here for almost 24 minutes. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you hate the video, give it a thumbs down. That's fine. No problem. No judgment. I won't even know that it was you. So go ahead. Go ahead and do it if you gotta. Leave a comment. Do you have a cosmic display in your Marvel Legends collection? Would you like to build one? Do you like any of these guys? Do you hate any of them? I'm not wild about this Thanos, honestly. It's nicely done for what it is, but I still prefer the Walmart exclusive repaint of the Build-A-Figure that came with the Infinity Gauntlet. I don't know. This one, again, it's just a little bit too much just that moment in time of the snap. And, yeah, I like that Walmart exclusive Thanos quite a bit. That's why I have 2 of them, actually. Jan Rog back there in the background, and the one and only very first Marvel Comics Captain Marvel, strangely coincidentally named Marvel in his original Kree language. Thanks for checking out this video about my Kree figures and my cosmic figures and all my thoughts about Jack Kirby and how Joe Sinnott broke my heart all those years ago by not answering my damn question. But I can't fault him because he probably didn't know the damn answer. But I guess that'll do it, and we'll see you on the next one. Until then, make it so. I don't know. I was just trying to think of something cosmic and spacey to say. That's all I could think of. Make it so. Make it so, #1. Yeah, that's all I got. See you next time.